Okay, today we got a 2019 F350 6.7 Powerstroke. Customer is experiencing a lot of smoke out of the exhaust. One of the first things I did was check with the check any crankcase pressure. Pulled the oil cap and it was under an extreme amount of pressure. So I'm suspecting the crankcase filter is clogged up on this one. Truck only has 88,000 miles on it, so it's getting close to being due. But this one does have the replaceable crankcase filter right here that has the bolts that you can pop the cover off and replace just the filter. So I'm thinking there's some bigger problems outside of this that may be caused by this. I think it possibly blew some turbo seals, which is why the oil's getting through the exhaust. And we'll address that afterwards. But this one right here, I want to show you guys the amount of pressure this has out of the oil fill cap. Now this truck is pretty much a cold start. The engine's nice and cold, so I'm gonna crank it up, let it run. I'll show you guys how much pressure comes out of the oil cap whenever I pull it, and then we're gonna get on to replacing the filter inside the crankcase box. And see if that fixes the issue. So let me go ahead and fire it up. Got quite a bit of smoke coming out. Oil cap dances. This is a cold start. Leave the cap on. It's got quite a bit of pressure in there, so we're going to go ahead and change this filter and see if it relieves the pressure and gets down to a normal amount, and then we'll address the oil usage problem afterwards, which I think is turbo seals. So I'm going to go ahead and get cracking at getting this pulled. It's pretty simple to do. You have to remove all three of these fuel lines, remove the fuel filter, and then there's a bunch of 8mm bolts right down here. 1, 2, 3, there's a few back there. And this top lid comes off, and then you replace the filter, put the cap back on, put it all back together, and we're going to try that. So stay tuned, we'll get that changed out. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is take the fuel filter out. We've got 3 lines on it right here, so it's pretty simple to do, just like you're doing your normal maintenance and stuff. You will lose a little bit of fuel, and I'm going to try not to dump this fuel filter out though. We'll just set this one aside. And then turn the fuel filter. There we go. I'm gonna try not to dump it out. And now it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, possibly 7 bolts. Bear in mind, this is my first time doing this one. like those stay in. So I'm gonna need a shorter, like shorter one for the back too. Okay, all the bolts are loose. Should be able to just pull this thing right up. Let's see what this filter looks like. Looks pretty nasty. We're gonna go ahead and replace this filter, put a new one in. Looks like it's pretty well soaked. Just so you guys can see what it looks like. We're eventually gonna do the crankcase reroute on this truck. Our customer wants to do that, so we're just going to throw a just an aftermarket in for right now. That's all we could get our hands on today, and see if that helps the issue. There you guys go, the difference here, new one versus old one. These things are pretty well soaked with oil. They are like very swollen. So I would assume that that's probably part of the reason why it couldn't breathe. Install is reverse of disassembly. Make sure that you get this seated on there properly before tightening them down. I'm going to get the two hard ones first. These right here shouldn't have to be incredibly tight, just snug. Okay, all of those are tight. Now just put the fuel filter back in. Just like that. And we're gonna go ahead and let the fuel pump prime, pressurize the fuel system, and then we're gonna try restarting this truck and see if it's still got pressure on it. So far, no pressure. No pressure. Not bouncing anymore. Let it sit for a little bit, let it run. No pressure. So with this right here, the crankcase ventilation system, that filter is supposed to be changed every 100,000 miles. This truck only has 88,000 miles, and it hasn't really been worked a whole lot. Mostly highway miles, not a lot of city miles, and it still was clogged up. So if you guys are seeing oil pan leaks, especially the upper oil pan, usually the cause for it is this right here is clogged, creating excessive pressure in the crankcase, which is blowing out those seals, causing those upper oil pan leaks and the lower oil pan leaks, front cover, rear main, etc. leaks. I'm going to put this one through the ringer and see if it has eliminated the smoke issue. If not, we may be looking at putting a turbo on this. He may have gone too far and it may have blown some seals inside the turbo, which is dumping oil into the system. The truck was smoking pretty hard. Hopefully that's not the case, but if it is, it looks like we're putting a turbo on it. So that's a wrap on this one. Stay tuned for more videos.